Hey, this is Rocket Brain Surgeon, and we're looking at energy fighting in World of Warplanes. We're going to look at the Bf-109Es to start with. This is the Tier 5 German light fighter. We're on the map National Park, and it's a Tier 5 battle. So you always want to start a battle by climbing at the beginning of the game. You notice that I use about 3/4 of my boost. Being at a higher altitude than your opponent is almost always an advantage. Look at the mini-map and you'll notice that I'm trying to move as a team. You want to engage as a group. My early climb pays off as all of the targets that I'm going to attack are definitely below me. Early in the game you're going to want to pick targets that are going to be easy kills so you can get a quick numerical superiority. Notice that I'm setting up for my attack runs by gaining a little bit of altitude, and I'm trying to move as a team and limit my exposure. Heavies and ground attack aircraft streaking for your headquarters make some of the best easy targets in the beginning of the game. Notice that I'm not engaging the flaps and cranking the stick around to do a hard 180 turn. That bleeds an awful lot of speed. I'm doing what's called resetting. Resetting is just what I call it, but what it is it's trying to recreate the situation where I have a big advantage. I'm at a higher energy than my opponent, and my opponent really can't fight back from a lower altitude. I find the FW-57 that I started off at the beginning of the game and quickly finish him off. Notice that at no time does he even have a chance to shoot back at me.
Enemy headquarters destroyed. Inaccurate anti-aircraft fire. That's one down.
Here I'm picking some targets below me to shoot, but I realize I have the wrong angle, and I want to go after easier prey. We want to get quick numerical superiority. Dogfighting takes a lot of time, so I could sit there and dogfight with those planes for another minute or two, but then I would only end up with about 1 kill, and in the meantime, my teammates may have gotten in trouble. So I want to down as many planes as I can in the shortest amount of time, and these planes here are flying low to the deck with not a lot of energy. Low energy planes are going to be much easier to shoot than high energy planes. And here comes a high energy plane now. My opponent in front of me is in the HE-100. This is a Tier 5 German light fighter. Notice how when a high energy plane changes directions, it takes a while for me to either change my role in the opposite direction, or it takes a while for me to get adjusted to his new attitude. You can see that my guns are overheating. I really can't follow him. It's an incredibly fast plane. The plane climbs rather well. And I typically just have to give up here. So I pull off of the attack because while I could defeat him, it's going to take a lot of time.
Hit. Pull up. Enemy damaged.
You should always pay attention to the mini-map because notice how the HE-100 is turning back to get on my tail. I need to have a plan to deal with him. Now, I can't outturn the HE-100, I can't outclimb the HE-100, and I cannot outrun the HE-100. My only chance is to run to teammates and have them deal with this plane. The only thing going in my favor at this point is the HE-100 is relatively undergunned with a couple machine guns as its only form of armament, so I have a little bit of time to live. Even though there's someone on me and I'm definitely on the defensive, if you have an easy shot like someone's right here flying in front of my guns, please take it. If you have to turn a little bit out of the way, absolutely do it. Notice that the HE-100 has given up his pursuit of me to try and attack easier prey. Your reaction to getting shot at should always be to climb first and foremost.
The engine has overheated.
There's an accuracy penalty for shooting while climbing, and my teammate quickly finishes him off. So you notice that I took almost no damage there. We're coming up on that same HE-100 again, but this is a little bit different of a situation. I have the energy, and he does not. He is fully out of boost and fully out of airspeed. Notice how much easier I'm able to damage him. I'm just working him like a speed bag at this point.
Enemy damaged.
In between engagements, you always want to reset. Here, when I'm climbing to avoid a head-on engagement with the Tier 5 heavy fighter, the ME-210. Diving on him quickly nets a quick and easy kill. Notice that at no time could he have really posed a significant threat to me. This next part shows just how bad it is to engage a higher energy fighter. He's going to suffer the accuracy penalty while shooting up at me. He doesn't even damage me. Don't engage someone who is higher energy than you. Try to avoid them and get on their tail. Next up, we're looking at the Bf-110B. This is a Tier 4 German heavy fighter. We're in a Tier 5 battle, so we're not top dog this match. The long boost on the heavies allows for some pretty good climb at the beginning of the game. The Bf-110B has a full 30 seconds of climb to utilize. Enemies are starting to pop up on the minimap, and I'm trying to determine where are the easy shots going to be and where am I going to limit my exposure. It looks like we have an ME-210. This is a heavy fighter, Tier 5. Looks like he's streaking right for the headquarters. These types of shots and engagements could not be easier.
Enemy damaged. That's one down.
I'm going to take some easy shots at this guy just because I can, but I'm actually going to leave him to my teammates. You can see that there are 4 guys chasing him. There's really no point in turning around. So I want to prepare for the next engagement, and that means I need to gain some altitude. You can see the planes off of in the distance are actually higher altitude than I am, and that makes it very difficult for me to engage. The I-17 is a Tier 4 light fighter. He has less hit points than I do. He smartly avoids the head-on engagement by bobbing and weaving and then just kind of dipping under me. It's at this point you need to realize he's not simply going to go away. Look at the mini-map and notice that he's staying on my tail. One of the most effective ways to deal with a light fighter is to just keep your speed up. You'll notice my operating speed, I'm flying around at about 570 km/h. This will quickly outrun the machine guns on most light fighters at this tier. However, I entered the furball so I could be shot from several directions, and now I'm going to use that powerful climb so I can have them sustain the accuracy disadvantage. After a long climb, my opponents are going to stall out, simply because they're going to lose airspeed, and I turn around and look at that plane there. Notice how badly he stalled out. And so he's going to have an accuracy disadvantage while shooting up at me. I'm just going to finish him off with no worries. I'm actually entering some dicey engagements here. I want to do head-ons because I have a severe firepower advantage over these planes, but I really don't want to ram and basically throw away the game. Notice that I am all alone here, and so I need to engage in a defensive maneuver. I don't have any boost, so I dive towards the deck because I want to get out of range of a lot of their machine guns. And notice how quickly I leave them in the dust and fly towards teammates. Those are the people that are going to help you.
You are losing control of your aircraft. Enemy damaged. Don't hit your allies. Hit!
This last part is just mopping up the remaining players. Notice how I reset in between every engagement. Notice how I'm not engaging the flaps and cranking the stick around and bleeding off a ton of airspeed. I'll try to keep my airspeed and keep my boost and keep my altitude as high as possible.
Last enemy. That's 3 down.
Alright, let's tie a bow on this. You always want to have an altitude advantage before you engage with your opponents. If you don't have one, don't engage. You want to pick the easiest targets so you can get a quick numerical superiority. Don't engage with the speed-bleeding turns. If someone's on your tail, you can try a couple things. One is to gain altitude, boost into the sky. Another is to try and outrun them by diving and boosting to gain airspeed. And the last is to try and bob and weave to teammates. I hope you learned something about energy fighting. Happy hunting!